I'm going to go to intent. And now I'm going to create a new intent called asking name 004 dash yes teacher. And this signifies that this intent handle the situation where the user says yes. Okay, so in the training phrases, I'm just going to add yes, I am a teacher. Or I can say yes. I could also say I am a teacher. Remember that we want to try to add as many training phrases as possible. And when we follow the script, we know that when the user says, yes, I am a teacher, that signifies the end of the conversation. So as a text response, I'm just going to say, sure, we are done. See you later. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. And because this is the other branch of the potential response from our user, remember that we have yes or no. So we would also want to connect this intent to intent 3. To do so, I'm simply going to add the output context from intent 3 to here as well. And remember that we named it asking name 003. And once again, it automatically generated an output context. But in this case, we don't really need this output context anymore because this is the end of our conversation. So we could simply just remove this output context from here. But if you do wish to continue the conversation, then you could add in a new output context here if you wish. Since we're following our script, there is no more after this intent. So I simply just removed the output context from here. And now I'm just going to click save. Cool. And since we still have one more intent to add, I will wait till we finish that intent and show you guys one more time the entire chatbot conversation flow. All right, so let's go ahead and add our very last intent. And what situation would this intent handle? Well, remember that from not teacher, after the user says, I'm not a teacher, we want the chatbot to ask, then are you a student? So then our very last intent will be handling the case where the student responds whether or not they are a student. Okay, so I'm going to create a new intent. I'm going to name my intent asking name 004 dash student. And this is to signify that this intent will handle the situation where the user reply whether or not they are a student. And following our script, we know that in this intent, it doesn't matter whether the user answers yes or no, our conversation would end here. So I'm going to go ahead and add our training phrases. Yes, I am a student. Or no, I am not a student. And because our conversation ends here, as a text response, I'm just going to add, okay, our practice is over. Bye. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. And remember that we want this intent to be connected with the asking name 004 not teacher intent, because this intent handles the user response to the chatbot's question, are you a student? So to connect the two intents, we once again need to add in context. And here, the output context from asking name 004 not teacher should be the input context of this intent. This is because the user's response for the question, are you a student, from that intent, it's supposed to trigger this intent. And let's quickly go double check, what did we name the output context for asking name 004 teacher? So now we know that we named the asking name 004 we're going to go back to our asking name 004 student intent and add that output context here, asking name 004. And once again, it automatically generated this output context. And similar to asking name 004, yes, teacher. Remember, that was when the user said, yes, I'm a teacher. The conversation also ends right at this intent here. So we don't really need this automatically generated context. So I'm just going to quickly remove it from here. And then I'm going to go ahead and save my intent. Okay. So now we've added all of the contexts that are needed. I'm going to quickly show you guys how the chatbot works as of now. So I'm going to type in lesson 1, and he asked me for my last name. So I'll say Lee. Then he asked me, what's your first name? I'll say Pei-ying. And he says, hi Pei-ying, are you a teacher? And I'll say, nope. And he says, are you a student? And then I'll say, yes, I am a student. And now the chatbot recognized that I said I'm a student. Then it proceeds to say, okay, our practice is over, bye. And if we look on the left side, we'll see that our chatbot produced the correct output, which means our intents are connected successfully. And we can also try the other branch, which is directly to say that I am a teacher. So I'm gonna say lesson 1, and then it says, tell me your last name. I'll just say Lee again. And what's your first name? I'll say Pei-ying. And he asked me, hi Pei-ying, are you a teacher? And I said, yes. And here we can see that our intents were correctly connected because it signifies to me that this is the end of the conversation. So now we see that we've successfully connected all of our intents, and our chatbot knows how to handle different user response in different situations. So congratulations, you've now made a chatbot that is capable of a mini conversation. Although it was a little bit of logic jump when we were adding input context and output context, they're very helpful for the chatbot to keep track of what has happened in the conversation so far. By using context, the chatbot is able to trigger the appropriate intents at appropriate time to keep a more natural flow, just like how we have conversation in real life. As homework exercises, please practice adding in the input context and output context that are covered in this video. And please make sure that you've completed all of the intents that were newly added, and make sure that your chatbot works as expected. If you encounter any difficulties or have any questions, leave them in the comment sections and we'll try to help you out as soon as possible. By the end of this video, you should be able to connect multiple intents to make a basic chatbot conversation using context. Get ready to practice creating context among intents and learn about web demo in the next video. That's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Congratulations on making all of the intents, and we'll see you next time.